friends, I'm Zara Durrani. Welcome back to On Location Vancouver, brought to you with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. Currently, we're here in Whistler, Canada for the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival. I'm so excited to take you behind the scenes and on the red carpet as we speak to emerging creators, on-camera talent, and Canadian filmmakers who've flown in from all across the country and talk to them about inspiration, creativity, and community. Let's go talk to them. Hi friends, day 2 here of Whistler Film Festival. Joining me now on the red carpet is Jessie, whose film is featured in the short work program. Can you tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes from a very, I guess, sad time in my life. It's about grief. It's about a young woman who has to head home and kind of keep things together while they prepare for her cousin's funeral. Yeah.
Thank you. And can you tell us what it feels like for you to be here in Whistler during the 25th anniversary year?
Yeah, I'm super happy to be here. I've frequent Whistler Film Festival for many years, and it just feels like home. So it's exciting to come back and be in the mountains and be amongst all the filmmakers. And actually, I pitched MPA here one time, so it's really nice to come back to this specific theater as well.
And showcase your project. Well, Jessie, congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us on the red carpet. We're here at the short work program, and joining me now is Lindsay. Can you tell us a bit about your project?
Sure. My project's called Tuktuit, which means caribou in Inuktitut, and it's a little bit strange. It's an experimental film. It's 15 minutes. It's about the close and enduring relationship between caribou, lichens, and Inuit in the Arctic.
What are you hoping audiences will take away from your film?
Maybe that we don't own the earth and it's not a natural resource for us to exploit, and that we're all connected and those relationships really matter.
Joining me are filmmakers
Tristan Mira.
And Allison Ham.
And can you tell us about your project?
Yeah, our project is a short film called Pomelo. It's a story about a 16-year-old girl amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, a mixed-race Japanese-Canadian, just kind of a day in the life of what it was like at that time. It also tells kind of the story, or an ode or dedication to my grandmother, who had passed away not quite recently to when I had written the film.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Joining me now is?
I'm King Louis Palomo, and I'm the director of a short film called Queen Mother.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, Queen Mother is a short that I created at my residency at the Canadian Film Center, and it's a short film about a mother who visits his son, who is a drag performer, and kind of like all throughout the night, a night of confessions, kind of brings them past and kind of like healed from there. Yeah.
How excited are you that your project is screening here at the Whistler Film Festival and at the 25th year anniversary?
I'm so happy to be here. Like, it's my first time. I'm a Vancouver local, but I'm just a fan of the festivals, and it's just like been wanting to have my film here, screen here, and especially to have it on the 25th silver anniversary.
Yes.
25th anniversary. So it's nice to have my film here.
Joining me right now is Sue Turley, who flew in from Los Angeles to be here with us for the screening of You Had to Be There. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's my first time flying into Vancouver and first time at Whistler, so we're very honored to be here with this film.
Amazing. Now, this film is about some iconic comedians. Can you share with our audience who this film features?
I mean, you guys, if you haven't seen it, you're going to be in for an unbelievable ride. But it's the most iconic Canadian comedians that graced the stage back in 1972 and still to this day. I look at it when we premiered at TIFF. We said it was a big hug to Canadians of just embracing the caliber of work and who these people are. It's a really special film. We're very proud.
I'm really curious, what inspired you to do a documentary on this? And we're talking about some legends here.
Yeah, that's a good question. So Nick Davis, who unfortunately couldn't be here, and he gives his love, he and his wife read Martin Short's autobiography, and I think it was 2019 or 2017. And Martin in there talked about 1972 and what the Toronto Godspell, what it meant for him. He says it's the best time of his life. And he shared that he had a long-term relationship with Gilda Radner, And Nick and his wife were like, how does nobody know this story? And so they started on the journey. And a lot of people tried to do it before us, but we were able to get Judd Apatow on board, and he made a couple of phone calls, and then all of a sudden we were ready to go.
Incredible. Well, I'm so excited to watch the film. Thank you so much. And nice to see you again. We saw each other in the shuttle. We'll give you a Canadian hug.
Yes, of course.
Hola, amigos! Mexico in the house here in Whistler, part of Whistler's 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival. How are you folks feeling to have your work featured here?
Amazing, incredible. I mean, it's just such an honor. We've been very big fans of Whistler Film Festival for the past years, and it's just so exciting to be presenting here with friends. So yeah, very very exciting. Our project Blue for You screening with the friends and the co-workers as well. So just so happy to be here.
Is there something in particular you're looking forward to during the festival?
I mean, we already started with a lot of dancing last night, and hopefully can stay like that. But I guess just watching a lot of films, meeting a lot of new people, and yeah, just spending some quality time with filmmakers. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, enjoy and congratulations. Welcome to Whistler.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Joining me is Andy. Andy, can you tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, so my film's called Brief Somebodies. It follows two actors who are rehearsing a sexual assault scene, and kind of follows how that dynamic has to evolve throughout the creative process.
How excited are you to be here in Whistler to have your work shown during the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival?
Yeah, it's a big honor. I've never been to Whistler before. It's very beautiful. I'm a big fan of BC, so we're really excited to be able to bring the work to the West Coast, and the fact that it's a 25th anniversary is great. There's a lot of excitement around.
Amazing. Well, congrats to you, and I hope you brought some silver to celebrate 25 years.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Joining me are Jen and Andrew from New York, all the way from New York. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great. This is our first time in Whistler, so it's really awesome. It's been
well, you got your toucan sweater on. You're like right on the vibe. Can you tell us a bit about your project?
It's a short film called Hand. It's a little body horror comedy. You want to take it from there?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically our protagonist, Amber. She's a college student, is in the midst of a breakup and gets a splinter in the desert that sort of she doesn't deal with, and it kind of festers and takes over her life. So yeah.
Over her whole body?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So exciting.
It's really fun, yeah.
And how excited are you guys to be here to have your project seen during the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival?
I'm very excited to be here for the 25th anniversary. I think that's awesome. This is also our Canadian premiere, which I'm really excited about. My mom was born in Moose Jaw, so yeah. So we were really trying to get to Canada and had a little rejection along the way, but we're really, really happy to be here.
You made it.
Yes.
With toques on and sweaters on. You made it. Well, awesome, guys. 2 and 2 in the house.
Yeah.
New York. Love New York. Enjoy Whistler, and congratulations.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much.
And joining me are
Jana Jacopo, Pauline Egan.
And the project we're talking about is One But Many. Can you tell us a bit about your project?
It's a documentary feature about human and wildlife conflict in Africa. And we look at how this issue, it's a global crisis that doesn't get a lot of attention, but how it impacts people living on the ground with animals like elephants and lion and rhino, and how it actually sort of, when it's not being solved, it fuels extinction of these animals as well as poses a huge threat to humans.
Amazing. Well, sounds incredible. I can't wait to watch it. And lastly, if you could describe in one word how excited you are to be here for the 25th year anniversary.
Dream come true, actually.
Ecstatic.
Amazing. You heard it here. Dream come true and ecstatic. All right. Hi, friends. We're here on the red carpet with two filmmakers visiting all the way from Winnipeg. They're here with their project featured in the short work program. Can you tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, it's Silent Sonata. It's a psychological horror film set in 19th century about female composers and how they were forced to ghostwrite for their husbands.
Oh, la la. Can you tell us how excited you are to be here for the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival?
We're very excited, especially as Manitobans. It's a smaller community there, but a really tight community, so we're excited that we can represent and champion other Manitobans in Whistler, especially for the 25 year. It's a huge honor, and yeah, we're just really excited.
Joining me today is Corey Pitt. And Corey, we're here to talk about a very special film, Star Walker. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, Starwalker is a two-spirit indigiqueer person who discovers the art of drag and introduces them to the House of Borealis. This is like this fictitious drag house in East Vancouver, and they find a chosen family and home and a love that they never knew they needed. So,
What does chosen family mean to you?
well, I think it's important to highlight these chosen families because it's really a lifeline for so many people. And I know for myself, it's where you find your people who get you and who are lifting you up and who are making you feel like all the parts of you are accepted and are present and need to be celebrated. And so this film is really a love letter to those communities.
Amazing. What are your hopes that individuals, audiences watching this film what sort of message they will take home? And also a lot of the queer folks watching the film, what message are you hoping they will get from this film?
Well, I started writing the story in 2019, and that was a time when drag band story hours, drag queen story hours weren't being protested, and when it felt like our journey to equality was more in reach. And then since that time, it feels like things have gone backwards, and it's where queer people are almost that there are fewer safe spaces. And I hope that this film really acts as a reminder of who we've always been, of the strength and joy and brilliance that we offer to our communities, to remind everyone out there that all of the negativity that's told about our communities is really just noise, and that we need to be reminded that we have gifts. We need to share that beauty with the world, and that starts with accepting every part of ourselves.
Bravo. Well, thank you so much and congratulations on the premiere. I'm really excited to watch the film.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joining me are some of the cast from Starwalker.
My name is Jason Sakaki. My name is Jesse Alvarez. And I'm Connor Parnell.
Gents, how are you feeling? This is the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival. Quite a special year to have your film screened here.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's a monumental year for the festival, and our film is perfect for this venue. It's a film about Indigenous queer drag queen, and so we're in a beautiful space and excited to share our film tonight.
Amazing. Well, any last words? If you could describe your experience of filming Starwalker in one word.
Exhausting. It's a drag musical, so a lot of heels, a lot of corsets, but beautiful.
Ooh la la.
Fabulous. I know, I kind of want to cheat, like beauty is pain.
We love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us and congratulations. Really looking forward to the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, friends. Joining me now on the red carpet is Luke Leeson, director of Wadze Nene, Caribou Country, and they're having their world premiere here in Whistler at the Whistler Film Festival. How are you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about Caribou Country?
Yeah, so Caribou Country is essentially just a high-level overview of some of the complications that people on the ground who work in outfitting, biology, with the provincial government, First Nations, we have the Tahltan Nation, we have the Tsekidane Nation in the film, and just sort of what they're seeing on the ground with the impacts that are occurring to the caribou, because caribou have been declining across this province for well over the past 40 years, and at alarming numbers. I mean, you expect to see some fluctuation in the numbers, but not at the levels that we're seeing across the board today.
What are you hoping audiences will take away after watching your film?
Ultimately, we just want to help facilitate like an open dialogue and a discussion. We're not trying to, caribou aren't political. They don't adhere to polygons or boundaries on maps. They're very habitat-driven creatures. They need a lot of land in the north especially. So we don't want to target any specifics in the story. We want people to tell their story and their experiences and what they're doing on the land base and what they're seeing, with the intent of opening that dialogue so we can create a bigger discussion in this province.
Tell us about the project. How long did it take you to create it? Like how many years in the making?
This one was a quick one. Our previous film, Dene Injech, The Scattering of Man, took us about 6 years until we hit the festivals. This one, all said, from development, production to post. It's been just over, I think, 2.5 years. So a lot to condense into 2 years worth of work, but we had an awesome team, great collaborators, awesome partners with Knowledge Network, and yeah, it's been an awesome experience.
The film explores the profound connection between people, the land, and the caribou. How would you describe that relationship from your own lived experience and community perspective?
Well, part of the narrative of the film is essentially my grandfather and I sort of talking. I sort of start the narrative, and then we have a central scene where he's telling me stuff, and actually we captured it on the film, and where he told me something about lichen that I'd never heard before. And so he's passing this knowledge on to me, and when I got into lands, I mean, he's my go-to guy on everything. He spent his whole life up there, grew up, moccasin wearing, Sekine Dene man, no roads, no access into the country. Then you fast forward to today, just roads littered everywhere for logging development, mining exploration, the creation of the W.C. Bennett Dam and the flooding of the Rocky Mountain Trench, just the impacts in such a short period, just blowing up. But the knowledge transfer stays the same. So there's some things that never, like that cultural connection and the passing of that information stays the same. And we felt that, as a part of the narrative, it's like we don't have to actually go out there and tell the audience anything. We'll just do it how my grandfather and I always do, is just to sit down, talk, go out, be on the land, and just learn. And Clemence Brace also brings that up in the film, and he talks about his grandfather and his grandmother and his elders, and how you can use that knowledge to build yourself. And he encourages everybody to go out there and spend that time, be on the land, be with your elders, and really build yourself, because one day we'll be in those roles and we'll be in those positions and we'll do the same thing.
It sounds like those are the conversations that you want audiences to have after they're done watching Caribou Country.
I think after the film, if people can just have any sort of discussion at all, and maybe see that it's a bigger, more complex issue than people really realize. There's a lot of things in this, and there's no simple solutions, and we want to open the dialogue and move some of these programs that people in the North have been working towards that just take forever to come into fruition. All of the herd plans that were promised years and years ago that have never come to fruition, and we don't want to use this as a vehicle to do that. We want to use this as an opportunity for people to discuss and have a conversation and say, well, why are they disappearing? What are all these things that are happening? And sort of just open that and broaden that context for people, just so they can, like I said, just open that dialogue, start that discussion.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations again, and thank you for taking the time to speak to us. I truly appreciate it. And for those who could not be here today to watch the world premiere of Caribou Country, watch out for it on the Knowledge Network. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time, Luke.
Great,
thank you. We're here on the red carpet with Shortboard Program Emerging Creators. Sir, what brings you here today?
I'm here with my short film, Till Then. Very excited about being here at Whistler. Thank you very much.
Can you tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, the film Till Then is basically talking and exploring a little bit about the limbo when you kind of haven't faced and really accepted the reality that your relationship is gone now. And it's a little bit of my interpretation of showing that limbo mentally where you are, of not really being neither here nor there. And it's very introspective, if you will.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, and we're looking forward to watching it.
Thank you very much.
Joining us now is the creators behind Summer Fling.
Hi.
Can you tell us a bit about your project, sir?
So Summer Fling is a romantic twist LGBTQI plus drama about a man who reconnects with his summer fling, but he can only see him once a year. But there's something special behind this meeting.
And tell us a bit more about your involvement in the project.
I was a producer on this project, and it was just me. So I produced the whole thing from pre-production into production into post, and we filmed it last summer.
Amazing. Well, bravo team, and let's just do un, deux, trois, Summer Fling together.
Sure.
Okay, un, deux, trois, Summer Fling. Currently, I'm here in Whistler, British Columbia, in the beautiful Chateau Fairmont Whistler. We're so grateful they have generously offered their space to us. And joining me right now is Programming Director Robin Smith of Whistler Film Festival as we celebrate 25 years of Whistler Film Festival. Robin, thank you so much. I know you're very busy. You're the man of the hour. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and speak with us.
No, my pleasure. Absolutely. I'm glad to do this.
Amazing. 25 years.
Yes. I've only been here for 2 years, but I've attended this festival for many years. It's kind of crazy to think that time has flown. For us this year, we have been taking sort of a look back at what we were and our roots, but more importantly, I think what we're doing is trying to think what we're going to be in the future.
Tell me about, as the programming director, what has been the vibe of this year and what sort of conversations that you have behind the scenes to make the program for the 25th year?
It's a really good question. You know, I can't speak for the previous years. Since the last 2 years, it's myself and 3 other programmers, and we start really looking at films and discussing topics in May, so that far out. As we go into the summer and after we've watched a lot of the films that are submitted to us, and thank all the filmmakers who submit films to us, it's always amazing, we start seeing some themes. And then what we try to figure out is the community itself, because to me, a festival is all about engaging audiences. And, you know, I came aboard and my biggest task was really trying to figure out who Whistler is, what their DNA is, and how we could sort of mix in with that DNA. So as you start seeing some of the themes pop out in the films that we're really liking, you sort of go, how will that be received by our audiences? And then we sort of try to build a narrative, so to speak. And this year was, it sounds stereotypical, but it really was about community. I mean, we have a bit of a crazy year politically in the world, you know. Every country's kind of, you know, becoming isolated, and we are all kind of looking into buying Canadian, being Canadian, and what is our sense of community. So that was really the key component as we started to see that. We also wanted to evoke fun and adventure, you know, because that's what this place is all about. But we also want to be sensitive that there's some really people who are attuned with the ecology and nature. And you know, it wasn't as if we purposely went to find those films. Those films kind of organically bubble up as we're watching, and then we sort of try to connect the dots a little bit. It's an amazing puzzle. It's very daunting to start with, but once you sort of do the border, you can start filling in the pieces from there.
Now, since you have taken the position of the programming director the last 2 years, what are you seeing here at Whistler Film Festival? I had the opportunity to be here last year as the red carpet host, as well as film for On Location Vancouver. It is so special for me as someone experiencing Whistler Film Festival for the very first time, because I had not been up here during festival season. And you're going from all these different locations that are right in the village, and you run into people along the way, and if you're a little bit lost, you can just ask someone with a lanyard. But also everyone in the village knows this is what's happening. Everyone in Whistler knows as soon as you enter Whistler, you see the signs, and there's like a sense of, yeah, you know, they're expecting us. We're here. What has this experience been like for you? Because you're based in Toronto.
Exactly.
So tell me about your experience coming down here. And, you know, I'm sure like you're doing a lot of work like from there, and it's very hands-on. I can only imagine the amount of films you have to watch.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Once again, another really great question, because exactly that. I'm based in Toronto. I do have family in BC, and I have a long history, as most people do, of visiting Whistler. I used to come to the Whistler Film Festival as part of the industry as well, so I'd seen previous iterations of it. What makes this special is it's a small, intense little sort of village of community, and you know, as an outsider, I was a little nervous coming in. I was sort of, okay, I'm from Toronto. How am I going to be received? And immediately, first and foremost, the staff are amazing. You know, you know, this is stereotypical, but they're such a connected family, and they're really great that way. And they made me welcomed right away. Then I started exploring the community. Like you say, it's such a it's a village. You know, they call it a village. And it is a town, but at the same point, it does have that intimacy. I'm a huge fan of those places where everyone ends up in the same place. And like you say, you run into people literally as you're walking through the village. And that's how these sort of creative little events sort of, you know, percolate, and that's how deals are done. Filmmakers end up, we have a long history of filmmakers actually striking deals here or finding other creative forces and partners that they work with. And then, like you say, the interaction even with the locals are just adore this event when it comes. I'm always amazed, and you see familiar faces at screenings, and it is a little different than being in a larger market because they're really honest about how they feel about the film, how they feel about our festival, and how they even feel about us. And they've just been so welcoming. So literally from year one, I just felt like I was part of the community. And this year, even more so, there are people who actually remember me from last year who are just welcoming back. And yeah, so I don't feel like an outsider at all. It makes it a little easier to understand the community and how we can connect the community with the events that we throw.
How do you balance honoring the festival's roots and also whilst pushing it forward?
Well, tough question. I mean, that's actually, it's interesting because we have had that conversation a lot, and it's still evolving in some ways in our brain. You know, every year, our amazing executive director, Angela Heck, who I'm convinced is a robot, considering how much work she does and how much she accomplishes. She and I sort of sit down and we talk about that, and we sort of say, okay, first and foremost, every time the festival's over, we do a survey with everyone who comes, and it's so massively important. It's with industry people, but also the general public. And we want to go through that and find how can we get better? What is it that connected with them? What didn't connect with them? Because no one's going to be perfect. And we realize that we put on an amazing show here, but we are always trying to figure how can we improve. There are some limitations to being in Whistler. There's not a lot of screening venues. We lost a venue this year, but we were able to activate this beautiful building, the Squamish Lillooet Cultural Center. And you know, thank you to them so much in regards to doing it. And every filmmaker who's been going in there for the premieres has just been like, wow, this is where my film is premiering. You know, so it's little small things, but it's also thematically, we're trying to look at how do we balance all these strands of what we are? You know, we have the Content Summit, which is amazing, important for emerging and established filmmakers. Then you look at the film programming, we do, you know, Hollywood red carpet films. We do, obviously, the Borso Canadian films. We also do mountain culture. We also do shorts. The list goes on. And
Student films,
it's so intricately weird and woven, and you're trying to figure out how does all of this dance together? And somehow, maybe it's the magic of this place, it kind of works.
It's the mountain air.
It's the mountain air. 100%.
What are your hopes for the next 5 years for Whistler Film Festival?
Well, I hope on a very selfish level that our team stays as our team. You know, I mean, you know, the weird things about festival is very few people are full-time employees. Most of them are contract, and everyone who works at this festival has other jobs. And it's so amazing. They all sort of sacrifice, first of all, time away from the other jobs to come and do this gig. And there's people who have been working this festival for 18 years. So that special DNA, I think, is what resonates out into the festival. So that's the first thing. But then secondly is really, you know, how can we once again reflect more on what the community is and how can we engage with the community, and not just the local community, but the filmmaking community. You know, I think we all know that we're in a kind of a very precarious position in regards to the film industry and the film world, and it's very difficult for emerging filmmakers to figure out where to go and how to go with very few funding sources or channels of distribution. So I would love to see us become more of a, you know, I use the word retreat, but almost in a, institute's too dry, but I love this idea of mentoring, you know, and I think festivals have a great role in mentoring both, you know, established and future filmmakers. And I'd love to see some of the filmmakers that we're mentoring now to premiere their films in the near future.
Amazing, amazing. For aspiring filmmakers out there, what advice would you give them?
Come to Whistler.
Come to Whistler.
Even if you're not part of the program, please come and experience our festival. As you mentioned, chances are you're going to run into people because it's such a small community, and it's a great way to establish yourself. And we're running into filmmakers who actually did that, you know, who came here. You know, I was talking about the influencers earlier. The filmmaker, used to come here as a patron just to watch movies. And then he started submitting films, and now he's premiering a film here, you know. So that's what I would say.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, if you could describe your Whistler Film Festival 25th year experience in one word, what would it be?
Well, I had my first bear encounter. So I'm going to say surprise.
2 years in a row, it's been a pleasure being the red carpet host.
Thank you again.
And, you know, to have these conversations with so many inspiring creatives and talent and emerging and experienced individuals, but also to see many folks from the city who come up this way from West Coast and East Coast who are just excited to be here, to be in the mix. And I know some folks like Paul Armstrong who have been coming here year after year, and he was like, I'm not about to give up my 25-year streak of attending the Whistler Film Festival, so I will be there. I am so excited to be sitting here next to a beautiful, talented young lady who I first met in a bathroom stall. And we were admiring each other's style, and she is the star of Influencers. My goodness, the title of this movie is enticing enough. You have to see her performance. She is the star of the 25th annual Whistler Film Festival, as she just received the Northern Star Award. I'm so excited you could make time for us.
Yes, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Influencers. We'll start off with Influencers, then we'll talk about what, you know, it's just so amazing to see someone's work, someone young, talented, hardworking, their work being recognized. So I know we had a brief little chitty chat on the red carpet. We've had some conversations, but I want to dive deeper about your role, this film that's taken you around the world. It's very beautiful, very picturesque. And I was speaking with Robin Smith, the programming director, earlier, and he loved the fact that not only does it have great performance, but really beautifully shot, and to invite audiences that aren't just the younger demographic, but of all, like whether you're a fan of France or Bali, you'll find something in this film.
Yeah, totally. We have the most incredible team. Our director of photography, David Sherman, and our director, Curtis David Harder. They've been working together for a really long time, so they have this incredible shorthand, and they're like in each other's brains. So when it comes to like deciding what shots and locations, they work so well together, and location is so important for our franchise, anyways, because, like you said, it's such a beautiful film because we shoot in such incredible locations. I think it's a gift that they have. They're able to just find these very unique places that represent the place that we're in very, very well. And our movie also has quite a bit of montages as well. And so in those montages, you just really get to see the beauty of the places that we're in.
Beautiful. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, so I play a character named CW. She's this psycho killer lover mystery girl who is up to no good. She's always up to no good, although we do see a different side of her in the sequel. So Influencers is a sequel. The first one is Influencer. And so when Kurt came to me with this new script, I was super excited because in the first film, CW is very cool, collected, calculated. She's very stoic. She's very precise with what she wants and what she does within the story. And in the sequel, it was really exciting because we humanized her so much in this story. We got to see her fall in love and allow herself to have this like quote unquote like normal life. It was really exciting to play, and then to see it how it unfolds afterwards is heartbreaking. But
they'll have to watch.
They'll have to watch.
Yeah.
They'll have to watch it. But yeah, it was CW. She's so cool, and she has so many skills. that I did not have. So she rides motorcycles, and she can just do it all. She's a genius. She knows computer science. She's a hacker. That is a skill someone asked me, they're like, so did you learn how to hack for this role? I was like, listen, I had to learn how to do a lot of things for this role. Hacking was not on my priority list. So I faked that one. I faked it real good.
Well, thank goodness for movie magic.
Yes, exactly.
I want to, for our audience, because we've been talking in general about the film being shot all over the world, let's talk about the locations.
Yes.
Because that is the exciting part.
Yes.
And then secondly, I want to talk a bit about the crew. Because if you're going, like, what was the crew size when you guys are going all these fancy exotic places?
Yeah. Well, my agent said this after watching the movie for the first time 2 days ago. She said, your movie is like travel porn.
No, I love it.
Like, damn, you are right. Yeah, there were our crew, cast and crew, I think for the sequel was 15, for the first one was 12 casting crew, and for the sequel was 15, and then we had one French producer, and we had a small Polynesian producer as well. But yeah, 15 people.
Amazing.
Because I helped produce and did wardrobe, so that's 2 roles, and then I played my part. But I would say most of the crew members had like multiple hats, especially our producers. We didn't have a set dresser, we didn't have a scriptie, we didn't have, we had one person for hair and makeup, and then me for wardrobe. And then we had like one camera assistant, and that's it.
Now your performance is deemed bold, edgy, and you're being called the rising star. How does that land for you to be acknowledged by the union, by UBCP, Union of British Columbia Performers, and our union, and by Whistler Film Festival?
It's hard to take in compliments, but I'll allow it for this. I have a hard time just taking it in, but I don't know. It's very surreal. I've been in the union since I think like actually don't know. I think maybe 2016. And they're like, I don't know. They feel like celebrities to me. these names like Whistler, UBCP ACTRA. So it's very, like I said earlier, very validating, and I'm very, very grateful.
Tell me, how do you stay grounded through this whole process?
I have really incredible female friends. I think it's so important to surround yourself with people that inspire you, people that are honest with you, and people that want the best for you. If I'm like a glass half full type of girly pop, and if I feel a certain negativity, I'm not afraid to push it away.
I'm certainly coming to that. Yeah. And I feel like the last couple of years have been like that for me, of like release, let go, bless.
Yeah.
On to the next.
On to the next.
Yeah, no, and I get that vibe of like positive optimism, energy. Yeah. And I think when you're creative, perhaps you're like this. I soak in the energy of people around me.
Me too.
And I have to work on, especially when I'm at festivals and places, to stay grounded. And one of my girlfriends, who's a costume designer in the UK, she does all these West End shows. She's like, stay in your hula hoop.
Yeah.
Your energy, be where your feet are. Because I can be so around what's happening, how it, and it's like here.
Yeah.
Especially when we're around,
Yeah, I think being present. We're so not present for a lot of the times that it's hard to remember to stay grounded and to prioritize yourself to a certain degree. I think as Canadians, it's easy to people please and to put yourself in the back seat, but you can still be nice to folks and put yourself first.
Any advice you would give to aspiring performers watching?
I give the same advice every time. It's just to get involved in your indie community. I think and to create things. Don't wait for someone, as an actor anyways, don't wait for someone to cast you. If there's a role you want to do, or if there's something that you aspire to be, just write those roles and get involved with your running guns and your shits and gigs and your crazy eights. It's never time wasted. You learn so much by working on those small crews and by working with other creatives who are also learning. So I think just be a yes man or a yes person. I'm gonna change that. Be a yes person to also other departments. I think actors are so afraid to step into other departments, but every actor that I know, great actors know every department, and it's going to make you a better person to work with. And at the end of the day, you need to learn to hang, and because you're going to be with these people for months.
Yes.
And if you're not a nice person, then they're not going to want to hang out with you, and then you're not going to get cast. So be kind to your other filmmakers and the other departments, and learn what they do.
Yes, and it makes you respect them and the work that they're doing, because you get this other viewpoint.
Yeah, and you're gonna make their job easier.
Completely. There have been times like I've showed up with my equipment, my tripod, mic and everything, and people are just like, I could tell a few interviews, not gonna say which ones, have been like, oh, I was expecting like a 10 people crew, because when I email, when they see my socials and whatnot, they have like an idea, and sometimes I do have, depending on the production that I'm working on. Yeah. But here, I just decided, I'm like, why not? I can do this. I have an editor, and I have a tech guy. I have any issues, I can learn. I don't have to be like, oh, I'm just the talent, and I just stay in front of the camera. No, darling, you have to learn to do other things.
100%.
If you were to look back at your career at this moment in time, and if you were to see a quality or two or a few that you think have been sort of guiding you through and helped you persevere in this career as a performer, what would you say? What would they be?
So I started out my career as a dancer.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've taken a ballet class.
I took an intro to ballet.
Those ballet teachers are strict, and they push you. And I think a lot of dancers will agree with me. I think dancers have really good work ethic, and I'm so eternally grateful for my background in dance and the people that taught me. I had incredible teachers growing up. They've guided me, and I think it's because of them that I have the work ethic that I do. So that's definitely got to be the main one. What else? That's a good question. There are many things that have happened in my career, like happy accidents. I think. Oh, someone just scored a goal. I think also starting a business was really inspiring for me, and I think starting the business kind of made me think about opening up my career to different departments, aka producing. I think producing films is so incredibly fun, and I can see myself going into that direction one day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
And love your vibes.
Thank you so much. I love your vibes.
From the very first day, I didn't even know I didn't even know what you were doing, but I just, wanted to connect and say hello, and just to be here and to see and to have moments on the red carpet. And I see you.
I see you
too. Ma belle Cassandra, non ma belle. Tu es magnifique, ma chérie.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay, my friends, well, that's it for now. Our coverage here of the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival continues, and we're so grateful we had time to sit down with the Northern Star Award recipient, the beautiful, the talented Cassandra No. Watch out for her in Influencers and many other projects.
Coming out December 12th on Shudder.
Ooh la la, there you go. We're here in Whistler right now, and I'm so excited to have with us who now happens to be a friend of our show.
Hello.
This is second year in a row. Now we're on the G basis.
That's right. Now, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
We're on the hug basis.
Okay.
I'm doing great, how are you doing?
Very well, thanks, very well.
Mr. George Strombolopoulos. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Your role here in Whistler, the 25th year anniversary, is as an ambassador.
Yeah.
We've seen you all over the news. Tell us about being an ambassador for Whistler Film Festival.
You know, this is, I think it's officially ambassador this time, but I feel like I've been one for a long time. Unofficially, I love this festival so much. I've been coming here since, I think my first time was about 20 years ago.
No way.
So yeah, so in fact it was 20 years ago. It was on their 5th anniversary that it first came up. So anytime we can gather and raise some awareness for what's happening at this festival, really cool filmmakers, really connected to the BC film business, I love to do it.
Because coming from Toronto, like TIFF gets so much attention. This year, 50th anniversary, you spent a lot of time in Los Angeles as well. All over the world, really. All over the world. I've been following your Instagram, you're traveling, doing a lot of...
I've been around. But mountain festivals are different. Mountain festivals are different. They have a whole other vibe to them. And Whistler in particular, one of the most beautiful places on the planet, of course. How could you not want to be around great art, interesting filmmakers at this?
And the
right?
snow.
Yeah.
And the snow.
Yeah.
And given by your Instagram, you rode a horse over here.
Yeah, I sure did.
Is that true?
It's mostly true. Part of the way. Part of the way here. Yeah,
It's Instagram true.
I mean, it's what is truth anyway, right? Yeah, no, I did. I rode a horse part of the way. I stopped on the way up in Squamish to Squamish River Ranch. If there's a horse anywhere near me and I can get on one, I'm going to get on one. Plus, this one was named Bring the Ruckus after the Wu-Tang song, so I had to get on that.
Bring the Ruckus.
Bring the Ruckus. That's a Wu-Tang Clan song. So they named this horse a nice 16-hand high, you know, paint horse, beautiful. Yeah.
Where did the love for horses come from?
I don't know. I love anything that connects me to freedom. Horses are indigenous to North America. These are our animals, right? We have many of them, but these are ours. And I just love the freedom and the humanity around them. Like you can't bring your day to the horse. If you do, they won't listen. You have to show up and meet the horse where they are. And which I know sounds like hippie stuff, but the more time you actually spend around them, the more you realize, oh, that's it. They're hyper tuned to you. I like that. It also gets me off screens. It's
the ears.
It's everything. They can sync your heart rate. They can do everything, yeah.
So I'm so curious, like leaving Toronto, because I have not, believe it or not, been to Toronto in so long. I was supposed to be there for TIFF this year. Just didn't really happen. Such a different vibe, such a different pace.
The city?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So what draws you, obviously, but I want to hear from you, from the horse's mouth, what draws you to the West Coast? What draws you to BC? Because you're frequenting Vancouver a bit these days.
So lucky to be a Canadian. So lucky to be a Canadian. Why wouldn't we want to go see as much of it as we can, right? I love this country. I love it. And BC is, it's a good home for me too. I have a lot of work out of there, so that's a big reason why I'm there is the work stuff. But it's just so beautiful. It's such an interesting city. Yeah, so I've spent the majority of the year traveling across Canada, and I've been in most of the country this year, not all but most, and I love this country. But Vancouver is a special place.
And that's what I want to talk about, because I was quite jealous and upset at myself that I missed you when you guys were filming Made New. You guys started out in Vancouver.
That's right, yeah, Gibson's.
And you took it around Canada. So tell us about it. It's very exciting. And you guys showed a little trailer here during the Whistler Film Festival.
Yeah, we wanted to travel the country and get a sense of what are the stories that made us as Canadians, what does us even mean, and how do you think your life might be different because of it? Meeting somebody who craved freedom and they connected it back to Little Sobo. Finding a guy who's a builder of cars and other things and feeling confident enough to do it on camera after watching the Red Green show. We're different because of the things we watch. We're different because of all the things we consume, because we're so easily influenced as a species. Human beings are really, really easy to sway, it turns out. It doesn't even have to be true to get someone to shift their point of view. So we focus a lot on that. in the negative space, but what about the positive space? How has what you watched made it better for you? And so we've come across quite a bit of that. And that was the whole idea of the project.
So tell us, I'm curious, so how were you bringing folks? Were some premeditated?
Well, we asked for submissions. We just asked for submissions. Some people submitted. We had a company help us with submissions. We had our own social medias asking for submission. People along the way would just reach out and ask. So we just asked Canadians. Yeah, that's how we did it.
So where did the project take you? You started here in BC.
BC, Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, and then we went to New Brunswick as well. I went up to Iqaluit. Later, I popped into Saskatoon and then Saskatchewan. We didn't hit every province or territory. We had a limited amount of time, but we hit a lot of it. We had a lot of cities. I did it on planes, trains, automobiles. I did it on a lot of boats, motorcycles. We made our move. I finally got horses in, which was nice. But yeah, so a lot of different ways to travel.
I feel like your social media, especially your Instagram, we stay up to date. I stay up to date with what's happening in your life, and I'm sure so do all the viewers. I felt like it's a little bit of a version of that come to life, but now you're interacting with people in the real life, because you have so many interesting conversations and topics that you bring up that so many of us are thinking of, but maybe not talking about on our socials. One of the things that we were talking about was food insecurity. And you work with World Food Program, and there was a post that this video you posted on your Instagram. I was standing in my kitchen watching it. I had tears in my eyes. Just how you're saying was how I was feeling and just not expressing it. Tell me about you showing up day to day, showing up so authentically and connecting with so many Canadians.
I am not the kind of guy that keeps a journal. I'm not a diary guy. I don't do that. And so early on in social media, it became apparent to me that it's largely just a journal. I don't want that in my life. What I wanted to do was, as best I could, make it a little bit about the us. And so sometimes it's about me, because I know how this game works, and sometimes you put stuff on and you put a couple good pictures, people might come, you share an image of a dog, people will come, I like all that. But then in those, because every story of us is more than just a serious conversation. It's the range of the human experience. So I want my social media page to be all of those things, but I don't want it to be a diary. I'm just not that guy. I don't really care about my existence. I don't really care about what I do. I care about the job, but I don't care about it in terms of how I feel about it.
I know lots is going on. Our last conversation here in Whistler was loved by so many individuals, and we were so happy and grateful that you could give us time. Made New, where can we watch this? What's happening with that?
First episode's online right now. You can watch it on YouTube and elsewhere. If you check out CMF or Strombo, you can find it. You can follow my channel, which is The Strombo Show. It'll be on there. There's 2 more episodes to come, and then now we're working on a longer form documentary. So each episode will tell a different story of a different region, and then the documentary will take elements of that, but be a whole lot more to it as well. So there's a lot of content coming from this.
What can we expect in 2026 from Strombo?
Who knows? Who knows? There'll be more of this. There'll be more of this. Yeah, more interviews, more content, more videos. For sure, more of the... I'm trying to fill in the gaps between human beings.
Amazing. We love that. But we'll have to catch up with you. I know you got to get out for dinner. We're so grateful. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Yes. Thank you so much. Friends, thank you for watching. This is On Location Vancouver. We're here in Whistler, and Strombo has to go do this Q&A. Our coverage of the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival continues. Joining me now is one of the cast from Cowboys and Hindus, and I had the opportunity to speak to this beautiful, talented young lady earlier on the red carpet, and I knew I needed to dig more into the story. I'm talking about the lovely Priya Deva. Tell us about Cowboys and Hindus, because just the title is so intriguing. I've told a few individuals, because we're doing a few stories here for my coverage, and the title was just so enticing. I had to know more.
Oh, absolutely. That's the reaction we get all the time when we introduce the film, and Cowboys and Hindus, and then everybody's curious, everyone's curious. But the short of it is, I play Asha Patel, who is a depressed, affluent immigrant wife. Affluent, I think we have to really keep that in mind. And she ends up on a working cattle ranch in Texas. And it's about how she finds herself. Like, she really digs deep, and it represents, I think, resilience of a woman, particularly an immigrant woman, right? Because you're so far away from what you grew up with and who you are, and then you're creating a new persona. But she finds herself on this cattle ranch. Like, she literally finds the inside of herself, which then becomes the outside of herself.
Beautiful. I love that. Cowboys and Hindus. Tell us about your character more.
So Asha has a very typical immigrant husband. He's oppressive. He runs the show. And although she has the purses and the jewelry and the money and the house, she's just lost. Right? Lost.
And where is the movie filmed?
It is filmed in Texas, outside of Austin, and it was filmed on a working cattle ranch.
Amazing.
Longhorns. So we had horses, cows, chickens, lots of chickens, and what a great experience.
Incredible. I actually spent 24 hours filming on a ranch earlier this summer, and it was the most incredible experience. It was my third time riding a horse, so we were going up a mountain. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, but they were like, Zara, whatever you're feeling, the horse senses that.
Very true.
So if you're confident, if you're comfortable, he's going to give that to you. Do you want him to lead, or do you want to lead? So that was very interesting. And I'm learning about equine therapy. So were you into horses before?
Yes. So this was not my, hate to say it, first time to the rodeo.
Not your first rodeo.
It was, I think, like my like an infinite amount of times to the rodeo. We had we actually had 4 horses, but we had one that loved being in front of the camera. Just loved us, loved me, loved the camera. And then we had a second horse that I rode, Grant. Grant and I have a relationship. And he's a wonderful horse. I love riding him. He's at another ranch, so they trailered him in. And so I do have a lot of horse experience. Made the movie easy for me, as well as for the production team, the producers, the director, because I already knew how to do it.
You're like, I don't need a stunt double. I got this. Don't worry. I got this handled. Tell us about the filming experience, because I can only imagine, especially when you're on a location like that, that makes it so much more special, taking you out of you being your regular self. You're fully immersed into the character.
True.
How would you describe you shifting into your character?
Well, first of all, Texas. We filmed at the end of July, beginning of August. 106 degrees.
In Celsius? Is that 40 or 35?
I was going to say, like, kind of 35, 40. So, obviously Fahrenheit. And hot. But I'm used to hot because I'm Indian and I'm also acclimatized to Texas. But the experience is really spectacular. But what happens is you show up on the ranch, you throw on those jeans, you're riding the horse, and it becomes very natural and it becomes very instinctual. A little bit of an advantage I have is ranch life is nothing new to me.
Oh, really?
I'm very familiar with it and very comfortable around not longhorns, because they literally have big longhorns. they're like sometimes the width of a BMW, which in our movie you will see them. You will see these fully grown longhorns. But getting into the character, there was a lot of me drawing on probably women in my family who have been oppressed, who are affluent, but don't necessarily get to be who they really are or wanted to do what they wanted to really do. And that juxtaposition against me being an actress and being able to do exactly what I want to do, which is act and be myself. I think that really helped developing Asha and bringing Asha to life.
This is the 25th year anniversary of Whistler Film Festival.
Yes.
How has the experience been like for you so far?
It's been so spectacular.
Is this your first time here?
So I was here in my mother's womb. So it is not my first time here. And considering I was also born here in British Columbia.
In Cranbrook.
In Cranbrook, that's right.
I was on the ranch. I was on that ranch in Cranbrook.
No.
3 Bars
Oh my
Ranch. It's a
gosh.
family-run ranch. The dad moved here from Texas.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Well, oh my gosh. And you know what I'm explaining to non-Canadians?
I'm going to have to show you photos after because
Absolutely.
I went there after spending a month in France. Most exquisite experience, Cannes Film Festival, filming all across for my show. Chateaus and everything. I'm so grateful for this experience, but something about being on this land with cattle and hundreds of horses.
Cranbrook is beautiful and it's beautiful. Yes.
And mountains. And as soon as I entered my room, I was so emotional because I saw eagles in the back and the mountains and land, and I was
and
just
you can
like,
feel it, right? You feel, and you also feel the Canadian Rockies, right? Because north of Cranbrook, it's right there. You feel that energy. So when I'm here, and particularly for the 25th, for the Whistler Film Festival, not only am I here to, with the movie Cowboys and Hindus, but this is home. This is home, and I feel it. And only here, when I say, I was born in Cranbrook, I was like, oh yeah, it's Cranbrook. Oh, or I get the surprise of, really? You were born in Cranbrook?
I know you whispered that in my ear, and I was like, wait till I tell you. Darling, I spent 10 days in Cranbrook. I interviewed the mayor. I was at the city hall. I went to the farmer's market, and it stole my heart. Incredible people, amazing humans, and beautiful. Honestly, when you smell the BC air, I've been all over the world. There's nothing like BC.
But there is one more thing. Think about this. My parents came in the last century, young Indian couple, arranged marriage, and the people of Cranbrook welcomed them so sweetly, so kindly. And there my mother was pregnant for the first time. Her family is across oceans and continents, and there's nobody here for her. And these folks took care of her so sweetly. And that little tiny apartment that my parents lived in and brought me home from the hospital still is there in Cranbrook. Still. Even now, it's still there.
Incredible.
So
you'll have to visit.
I know, we'll have to do it again. Well, we'll do that together.
Exactement. We'll take the Cowboys and Hindus part 2.
Merci.
Avec plaisir, mademoiselle. Avec plaisir. Well, thank you so much, Priya, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and tuning in. I'm Zara Durrani. Our coverage here of the 25th annual Whistler Film Festival continues, and we're so grateful for Fairmont Chateau Whistler here, this beautiful space that we get to film right now, and thank you to Whistler Film Festival for all their hospitality. Thank you so much for watching. The show is brought to you with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of On Location Vancouver. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please scan the QR code and someone from our team will be in touch. We'll see you soon.